Knowing this near universal pattern helps to assess new brands and existing ones.
What don't marketers know?
Quite a lot. Marketers largely live in an anything-goes world where the latest fashion or fad drives an awful lot of practice.
Segmentation is the recognition you can't serve everyone with equal satisfaction.
This is the Zach Ansbury Show.
Welcome. On today's podcast clip, we have Associate Professor Benedetta Crisafulli from Birkbeck, University of London, United Kingdom.
Yeah, sure. And thanks, Zach, for the invitation. I remember when I was in Adelaide in your office and saw some of and also checked some of your recordings online. I thought this is a brilliant initiative, and thanks for having me here. So my name is Benedetta Crisafulli. I am Associate Professor in Marketing at Birkbeck, University of London. I've been there since 2018, and prior to that, I've been at Cranfield University, so always based in the UK. And yeah, I'm sure you'll be asking more about my research and yeah, so fire it up.
Yeah, absolutely. And on that note, congratulations on your promotion to Associate Professor.
Thank you.
Yeah, when you were in Adelaide, you were a senior lecturer, right?
Yeah, that's right. I got the Associate Prof last year. Yes, it was a bit of change in some of my roles, and things started coming together. I think nowadays, at least in the UK, when you're going for promotion, they are looking for a number of things, increasingly more things. So I think I was in a good shape to apply for it, and I just went for it, and it happened. It's not usually so straightforward, but it was, quite straightforward this time around. I'm not sure it will be always that way, but yeah.
Well, I'm glad
Thank
you
you
had
for
a
that.
positive experience, and yeah, absolutely thrilled for you. So that happened, I guess, last year. So what I'd like to also find out from people is what sparked your interest in marketing, and academia in particular. Was there anything that stood out throughout childhood or growing up, or was it something you experienced as an adult instead?
I would say marketing and academia for me have been slightly different in the sense that I haven't been always interested in marketing and academia. I think since I was very young, I was one of the sort of nerds. I was very good at school. I was, I enjoyed studying, and I was doing well in most subjects. So in a way, and also I remember, we are talking about, very, very much primary, secondary school. I was even asked to do some tutoring of other people, other peers in the class. So in a way, the studying bit, the element of, going back to study, doing PhD, and perhaps going into teaching has always been a trait of mine, is one thing that for some reason I was good at, and maybe I enjoy it as well. So that's why I was good at. The interest in marketing particularly, and so that discipline and the subject rather came from work experience. So in fact, when I decided to do my undergraduate, I was in two minds as to what to do. I had done college where most of the subjects were about languages, as well as that there was a pathway into business and accounting. So I used to have a very good teacher doing loads of accounting, and I was very good at it. So when I decided to go to university, it almost lent itself towards those kind of subjects. And while I was doing my undergraduate, I had the opportunity to also be abroad, in the UK, in Italy and in Europe, not in the UK anymore. We have the Erasmus program. So I really wanted to take advantage of that. You get funding to go abroad, so why not? And I ended up going abroad. And while I was abroad, I kind of decided, okay, working and living and studying abroad is something I enjoy. I learn a lot from it. And then a little bit of back and forth because I was in Germany. So the idea was maybe I'll go back there. And I even applied, once I finished my undergraduate, I even applied for postgraduate studies there. But I had a bit of a gap between the end of my undergraduate studies and my postgraduate. And so I decided, okay, my English is so poor. Let me go to an English-speaking country and improve that. And it was very easy. If you can, I came to London, and about 2 weeks later, I had a job. And it wasn't my dream job. They only required me to speak fluent German and fluent Italian. So that was about it. Not that many more skills. And I was in financial services, looking after accounts. It was a trading company, and that opportunity, I think, was a sparkling opportunity because I asked for a secondment on a project that was sitting in the in-house marketing team, where they needed people who were speaking Italian, and so the link got there that way. And they, I started working on that, and I really enjoyed it. And I thought, oh, wait, maybe I should do more about that. So I stayed on that job, but in the back of my mind, I already knew that at some point I would have dropped that and go into postgraduate studies. And that's how I ended up doing then a postgraduate in marketing. And during that postgraduate, I finished with a dissertation, and at the time, my supervisor told me, "Oh, you have done a good piece. Maybe you should think about writing a conference paper." I said, "Yeah, okay." But in the meantime, I wasn't quite keen on pursuing PhD for two reasons. One was funding, and the other one was I wasn't 100% sure it was the time for me. So I was a bit in two minds. Is this really what I want to do? So I did go back to working in the private sector. And at the time, I got a good opportunity. It was a small company set up by former KPMG consultants. So long experience, very good people, a lot to learn from. And they got me involved in many consultancy projects they were dealing with, plus a little bit of in-house marketing for the company and promotion. And then, it was, I was traveling a lot just to get to work, about 2 hours on the way and 2 hours back. So it got stressful at some point. And then obviously you want to move up. And so I got a better position, and so went into a different company and managed to work with somebody that eventually landed a job in insurance, a very high profile job, but he was excellent. I learned so much from him. He was the marketing director, and I was like the executive. And while all of that was happening, I was still in touch with my former PhD supervisor that you know very well. So that's Jay. And we kept in touch. And in the meantime, positions became available for funded PhD. So then it was easy. I would want to apply at that moment because you don't know if you're going to get the chance again. So I was very meticulous in trying to put together a proposal and approach different people. So I was in touch with Jay, but also Jay himself told me, maybe you should talk to other institutions. Maybe you should talk to other academics where you think there is a good fit. And so I tried. I applied at least to 3 universities, got offers from 2. And then eventually decided to go where the money was better. So it was a little bit of that. But also, I really liked working with Jay. So it was a combination of the two things. So academia sort of built up over time. Once I sort of realized this is really where I want to go. And one thing that Jay was really good at is kept pushing me. Is this really what you want to do? are you really sure? And I think that questioning really helped, because unless you're really convinced, the risk of dropout is just far too high. And in the meantime, life goes on. So
Yeah, it's really funny. I got similar advice during my PhD candidature, or before I was going to start actually, which was make sure that you love your topic, because it's going to be 3+ years of absolute grueling and sometimes hell. And if you only like your topic or you're okay with your topic, then you've got further to fall and you're more likely to drop out or not submit. Whereas if you start at like a high level, then it's going to work out better. So it's interesting Jay had like sort of similar advice about, make sure you really want to do this.
Yep.
And kept reinforcing that.
yes, no, it's really important.
Hi everyone, Zach here again, and just a few quick reminders before you go. If you're listening to the podcast and are considering incorporating it into your secondary school or university courses, then please let me know and I can guide you through the process. If you're enjoying the show and getting some insights from it, then please leave me a 5-star review on your podcast listening platform. It would go a long way to spreading the word. If you know someone who would benefit from this content, then I would be thrilled if you could consider sharing this episode and its knowledge with them. And finally, thank you for becoming part of the community for this show.